Well, hello there. It's another stream day, and we are live. Now, before I continue, like usual, I have to check my sound levels. But that should be it then. So like usual, if the sound is off, like if the music is too loud or too quiet, let me know. If I'm too loud or too quiet, also let me know. So what's been going on meanwhile? Not much. I've been doing some work. Not as much on the game as I'd like, perhaps, but instead some other freelance stuff. Some of you might know that I also work on a Minecraft server called Vox Populi. And you can find that on voxmc.com. And I've been making plugins for that server. So it includes a bunch of custom functionality. A lot of it is kind of like RPG-like. So items with stats, boss fights and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I've been working mostly on recently. But I do try to get some of my own game development done when I can as well. So today on the agenda is the map editor, which kinda has been holding back the basically the update for the game. I redid a lot of how the map files and map rendering and map data is done, so that means I also need to update the editor to support all that. What else? Yeah, basically, I guess we can just get started on that. So, if you have not seen me show the editor before, this is what it looks like. It's kind of recent that I made some of these changes here, like the file menu up here, or the other ones. This didn't exist before. I had some of these options down here, which is just like a mess of tools of all kinds, and some of them. Basically, I've not concentrated on the user interface part of it at all. It was more important that it at least sort of works. Because this editor is not public yet, and I've been only using it for my own purposes. Eventually, I hope to release it, but there's always the question, like, how much should I concentrate on that versus concentrating on the game, because both need doing. So anyway, some of the other things that I've done lately for the editor is this selection tool, which enables me to create LUTs now. I also need to place these buttons somewhere else, but I'm not sure where yet. So a LUT is an area where the players can build. So they can build on this blue area, but not on the areas outside. So if I do select an area here now, let's say like this, I can create a building here. And then I could add furniture to it, like a door, for example. Now that I think about it, I really need like some search function here. Then I could add a window of some kind, and so on. And since the LUT thing is kind of annoying, I can toggle that on and off. So basic things like that. There's also undo, redo, can toggle the frames on and off, zoom in and out. So a lot of this functionality overlaps with the base game already. So just reusing a lot of the same code for rendering and whatnot, but just adding some UI tools on top of it, like these windows and this menu. So one of the things that I want to add is a tool window or some kind of window that shows what's going on the tile that I've selected. So the coordinates for it, probably the ground ID for it. So like on this tile it would be grass, but I could put, I don't know, sand here. Then it would show that this is sand, and like that. So some kind of an informational window like that. And then I have some other things that I also might get around to adding. So I can move the camera a bit so I'm more centered here. Some of the other things that need doing. Let me load the demo map here. Campaigns, demo map, this one. So as you see, it does not have a building right now. It has LUTs. I just declared the whole map area as a LUT for now, but I want to change that. But since I changed the system how buildings work, the editor doesn't know how to load that from the map file, or actually the map file doesn't even contain that information right now. So I need to add that somehow. I can still create the basic building here, but the wall colors are all wrong and I can't change that in the editor yet. So that's another thing that I should do. Also, what I want to change or add is, like, when I place a furniture item right now, well, that's pretty much the end of that functionality. So it also needs something to make me able to edit the furniture information. So let's say maybe I'd like to move it. I can erase it and replace it right now, but that's kind of cumbersome. But what else? There's like a bunch of parameters for the furniture that I'd like to change. Like if the player is allowed to move it and stuff like that. So that also needs work. Also, hi to Riot on the chat. Says invert selection would be great now. Yes, kind of, it would be convenient, but I feel like it's more like a luxury tool at this stage when it's lacking so many tools and features that are more important right now, or like necessary even. So yeah, definitely I will try to make some kind of invert selection thingy, but because of how the selection works right now, it's kind of complicated to pull off. Because what it is right now is just a bunch of rectangles. So it's basically an array of rectangles. So to invert it, the game would have to know how to create like an optimal array of those rectangles then. Not that by doing it by hand it's always optimal. I mean, could also do this, right? And instead of one area. And yeah, if the game was smart enough, it would just detect that it could make it all into one area. But it's not right now. Also, I'm gonna check the camera settings for a moment. The annoying thing is that it resets this exposure parameter every time the camera is closed. Which makes my face really bright. It should be fine now. So I'm gonna go over some chat real quickly. And Twitter. And then I guess we can get started. Also, just to be sure, there seem to be some moments where when my stream is buffering, at least when I'm watching it myself. So if there are problems like that, I probably should do something about it. So if anyone watching this is encountering any issues like that, let me know. I should probably write it in the chat as well. YouTube's fine. Okay, maybe it's just on my end then. Also, I see the camera started twitching for some reason after I changed the settings. Like, what's up with that? I've never seen that happen before. Weird. Yeah, technical issues are fun when they're different every time. I don't know, let's call this twitchy camera feature then. I mean, it's kind of funny, you know. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, a new tool window is what I wanted. This camera is starting to annoy me now because I see it from the corner of my eye and it's twitching. What if I turn it off for a moment? So now is this better then? Looks like it. Yeah, when in doubt, just turn it off and on again and everything works. So here I add the windows. So what can I call it? Guess some kind of informational window. So and then let's get tools. Then make a copy of this. Like usual, there are barely any comments in my code because I'm lazy and don't care. though. With the selected time information. Oh yeah. One of the things that I should do is set up tags for the Twitch stream. Where edit stream info. So what do we have? Programming, game development, pixel art, and also AMA, because you can ask me anything. You can ask. I might not answer to everything, but you can ask. And you can also tell me how you guys are doing throughout these crazy times that we're having. So far we're doing fine here. Been in self-quarantine for more than a week now, like a week and a half. I've gone out to take a walk in the woods here, but been avoiding people. Haven't gone to the store because we have enough in our stock here. So, but we'll run out eventually, so I have to take some kind of a store trip at some point. So what do we even need here? Oh yeah, this past week I've also been watching some other game development streams, just to see what others are doing and how my own stream differs from them or how similar it is. And what I've noticed is that most of the programmer streams don't actually talk that much. Wait, now what happened? I think the Twitch stream went down for a moment. So I don't know. If you're having problems on Twitch as well, then YouTube works at least. But I don't get it. I don't get it what's going on today. Why is it being like this? Because the bit rate is fine. And and YouTube seems to work, so I really don't know. It's probably a problem with the restream then. And there's a warning in restream saying YouTube has issues globally, or the YouTube API, but it had this message last week as well, and then it worked. So that, I don't know what that is about. Don't know. We'll try to keep it going as long as we can, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I will try again next week then, or some, actually I might do some streams on other days now. One of the reasons why I didn't want to do streams on other days besides Mondays was because there was other sort of entertainment that I wanted to catch up on myself, like sports, like football, stuff like that. But that's not a thing anymore, so I might as well do more streams myself then. So yeah, if I do it, I probably just, you know, go live randomly, not announce it too much ahead. But yeah, anyway, let's actually do some work too, besides just worrying about stream issues. Because at least as long as the YouTube one is working, it means that it will save the video and people can watch it afterwards when it's not live. Show Dromo table. I think I need to create a new table, and the way the UI elements work in libgdx is kind of like HTML. So if you're familiar with tables in HTML, then libgdx is kind of the same, but instead of, you know, HTML, you create new objects. So the table, I guess, just name it info table then. A label is just something that displays text. So, and my get function gets the translated text. So this could be editor info x coordinate, and for the tools window, this is actually not a good way to do this, or I have to change it. I should use these sort of identifiers instead for the text. So editor has its own file for text. extend that's how I can use it. So this would be the x coordinate. I can leave like comments of hints here, so I know what the parameters mean here. So I'll do the same for the y coordinate. Then well, it's not C, but I call it story number. It's the floor, the level of the selected tile. But because I use floors for the flooring, I named it story instead. So anyway, if you're joining the stream now, what I'm working on is the map editor for Office Management 101. Whoops, I should fix the code first. I wanted to show what the editor looks like, but I need to comment out some of this stuff for that to work. Let's give this a quick name. Info. Just to quickly show what it looks like. Well, this is the editor, where I can change the flooring, the ground, add furniture, create buildings, and so on. And I'm in the process of adding more functionality to this editor. So, like I mentioned, the tables in libgdx, the engine that I'm using, kind of work the same as the HTML tables do. So adding a row adds a new row to the table, which probably makes sense in this case. So that was story number. They also need to add some values here. That gets shown in these slots. And I'm not gonna worry too much about the appearance or the prettiness of all this right now. Just needed to show something at least. They can make it prettier in the future. But also I wanted to change the name here. So this would be editor window. Guess here. Actually, I really don't know. It's kind of hard to name these things sometimes. While making sure that they all use the same exact naming format. I guess like this. Maybe then I should add this window thingy here too. And why I do it this way is just to make sure that the text will all be properly translatable in the future. So if it's like this, then I would have to use it like this, and that creates some problems. Because this tools doesn't know the context of it. As in this provides a bit more context. If that made sense at all. And I also need to add window here. Here. But again, then maybe I should add window for these as well, so the formatting is the same, you know. That's where I get confused, because one day I'm preferring one formatting or one naming format, and the other day I'm preferring another one. How do I decide? Now, let's see if it actually shows up. Well, here it is. You know, to make it better, I should probably change the font color and whatnot, but to leave it like it is for now. Just concentrate on the functionality. But one thing that is a bit easier to do is to align it all to the left. also, now I need to update it somehow. Which means I need access to these labels. Which means they need to be variables of some sort. And I probably need to add them here instead. Then I need an update function for the values somewhere as well. Also this tile cursor and have a getter with coordinate, which kinda is bad, but again, I've been lazy about it apparently. And for some reason, this is a getter function. The getter. So I probably do have an update somewhere, don't I? So I could make it so that it's only updated when you move the cursor, but there might be some cases where the information changes even without your input. So just put it in update, and while it might not be the efficient approach, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm wondering though, maybe I should have made the value a separate label and the title of it also a separate one. Because now when I set the text, I need to set it with the translation string as well. And whatever. Again, it's not a big deal. When it comes to game development, often we can accept that the code doesn't have to be perfect. It might be like a controversial thing to say, I guess, but considering that, you know, this is not critical code, I'm not running a nuclear power plant here. Which needs all kinds of fail-safes and whatnot. For games, the code has to be just maintainable enough to get it shipped, and that's how it is. Otherwise, I mean, I've been working on this for 6 years already anyway, so if I start going overboard with the code prettiness, I'm gonna be working on it for 6 more years at least. Whoops, I just noticed something though. This is wrong. So here it is. X isn't updating, Y is. I'm not sure if the story adding even works right now. Nope. Because there's some cache that it doesn't update. And that ends up crashing then. Though I might be able to load a map that has multiple stories. So let's try that. Expansions. This one has 2 stories. So yeah, that also updates. Although it's not, now that I think about it, it's not necessary to show it here if it's shown here anyway. I guess. Whatever. I already made it, so might as well keep it like that. So why isn't the X coordinate updating? What am I missing here? Oh, what is this nonsense here? Yeah, that works. Yeah, the font color is awful, but whatever. So what else do I need to show there? Oh yeah, I also wanted to show the ground tile ID. And I can delete all this crap, I guess. I don't know if I want to show like a numeric ID here or a name of the tile. Probably the ID after all, because I'm not sure that they even have a name. So this map, there should be a function of some kind that gets me the ID or something at least. Is this one? And these I need to round. Or floor. And again, if I had like getter functions for these, I could add flooring to them already, but not today. So made a mistake here somewhere. Or maybe not. I'm not even sure if this is the correct function to use. So what do we have here? This gets me the sprite, but I don't really want that. So what else does map have that I might be able to use? Oh yeah. Get story might have something. And again, this is 6 years of bad code, so I don't know it all right from the top of my head. So is this what I want? No. Might be this. also need to create this thing. Actually, I need a separate variable here. So let's see what that does, if anything. Yeah, I also need to translate this. Again, I messed up somewhere, but that's fine. At least that works. Yeah, here is where I messed up. And here as well. What if it doesn't have anything? Well, it also works. Okay then. But this information will just make some things easier, but also I want to add a toggle for this. So I can turn these other ones off, but not the information right now. Actually, I might even leave it off by default. Well, I could also maybe explain why I'm even making my own editor and not using any of the pre-existing ones like tiled. And actually I did use tiled at first, but as I kept working on the game and it grew, the features in tiled were not enough to make everything that I wanted to do, which is why I decided to make my own editor after all. And also my own map format. The maps, by the way, are just JSON files, so it's nothing fancy. So anyway, toggle. Oh, that's why it was window menu. This is the window menu. So maybe I should rename these after all. YouTube started buffering a lot. That sucks. The weird thing is that Twitch seems to be working fine now. It's like either one or the other. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what to do about it right now. Because it doesn't look like it's a problem on my end. Also the bitrate between me and Restream is okay. The Twitch bitrate also seems okay for now, but I can't check that for YouTube, unfortunately. YouTube doesn't seem to show that information. So yeah, I mean, in the end I'm going to continue, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll just do a shorter stream than these past few weeks then. Maybe next week it'll be magically fixed, or I'll just try to use a different Restream server. Anyway, at least while Twitch works, let's continue. So this was what I wanted to add. This is what I can search for. So info, also info, and that should be it. And now that I renamed all these, I need to fix it. But at least this toggle works. So I remove this and this and this and this and this. The same thing here. Well, it seems to be working then. What else? So, I'm gonna check my task list here. This one I can mark as complete, and then okay, I guess what I can add now is a menu tool. So it would be a thing that when I click on a tile somewhere, it opens up a menu kind of like this. But at that spot, so like a context menu. But why I need to create a separate tool for it is because both left and right mouse cursor or mouse buttons have functionality attached to it already. So like left click would place the furniture, right click would rotate it. So I guess I could use like a middle button click, but I hate middle or like the mouse wheel button clicks. So instead I'm just going to make a button here called the menu tool that I can activate, and then when I click on a tile it will open that menu, and that menu will have options for messing with the furniture and buildings and whatnot else. So tools are defined here. Some I've already deprecated, but I'm keeping them around just in case. But tool menu is what I need here. And then I need a button to activate it. So this function is for updating the tile cursor for the tool. So there will be no areas, no arrows, no objects to show. Let's add it above here. A menu tool button, I guess. So that should already do something. Okay. So there's that for starters. What else? I can close this. the click and deal with it. With the difference that for many of the things the changes made are undoable and redoable. So this is what happens here. But for the menu opening, we don't need an undo. Instead, we need to open a menu here. So how that would be done? You can copy it from the game itself. I call it quick menu usually. Although that's not a clear name for it, a context menu would be more understandable, I guess. Now, what were the parameters passed here? References, workspace. Some weird math going on here. I don't really know how much of this would I need. Vector X, vector Y. It calculates the screen coordinates from the tile. And also takes the rotation of the map into account, but I don't know. This also has x2 coordinate and y2, so this looks like it's for an area. Okay, I kinda get it what's going on here, but I can copy something easier, I feel like. For example, this stuff here. And here I would use the tile cursor coordinates. Also to double check something. It should be fine. Yep, it opens at least. At the right spot even. I'll just have to fill it in though. And fill it in with furniture, for example. And I think I can also copy that. So I might as well copy this whole function over. Just in case. So here would be the coordinates and then the tile. X tile Y. Is that it? Or should I use these? I guess I can experiment and see. This I can remove and this I can put here. some map. Actually, that I don't need either, because the editor doesn't have characters on the map. Doesn't have employees. So now the menu only would open when there's actually something there to open. So what do we have here? Okay. Need to floor these. Now let's see where it iterates through the furniture. Now this one I probably can't use because it uses scripting for the game, and scripting isn't enabled in the editor, at least not in that form. But what I can add is, I don't know, some kind of label. Add label with the furniture item name. And then I can at least check if this works or not. First of all, let's put an item here, here. Maybe should make a tile where there's like multiple things, like this. So now when I select the menu tool, it seems to be working. So the button that I would like to add first is some kind of edit. Add button. With an icon as well. What what could the icon be? I think edit should exist. Then something here. What's the name of that class though? Button listener. Oh yeah, this is why. I've also been thinking that I need to make it so that it opens the last map that I had open, so I don't have to start all over every time again. Because I can still generate a new one here if needed, although that doesn't work right now either. So menu tool, oops, the menu, and the edit button right now just closes it. Let's translate it as well. Then let's check it again. Yep. So what this would do is open a new window that has all the parameters for the furniture. What else I could add later on is like moving the furniture item. Let's see, removing it. Making a copy of it, I guess. Stuff like that. But the edit one is the most important one right now. But let me check over how things are going. If YouTube is still working or not. It's still showing something on YouTube. So probably working then. I don't know if the buffering is still an issue there or not. What else? Twitch seems to be working though, so that's something at least. So anywho, next I was gonna create the menu window, or just the window for furniture editing. And for that, there are some windows that open when you do something. So let's see this, for example. When you double click on these, it opens a window for editing the floor tile. So you can change the seasonal sprites, let's say for this one, for example. The spring and summer one look the same, but autumn is a bit more yellowish and winter has snow on it. And there's also other stuff like if the people can walk on the tile, you can build on the tile and indoor. Those probably don't function anymore because I don't need them anymore. I changed how that works, so it's like a legacy option there. There was also this window, and there's also well, basically this one, or all kinds of loading windows and those as well, saving and whatnot. So which one would be the best to clone here, or to use as a base for furniture editing? So I guess this one. It has a lot of stuff that we don't need, but we'll remove it. So what will we call this? We want to edit the furniture, so edit furniture item. we probably will need some sort of a checkbox. This we don't need. This should be a save button, not load button. I'm thinking if I should reuse this or just make it more simple. Probably simple is fine. So, what can we check for our chains first? These four are the most important ones. And especially actually moving, selling, trashing. But let's add buy as well. So this is going to be a checkbox for can buy. Can buy, can move, can sell, and can trash. Can move. Cancel. Can trash. And then here as well can move. cancel, can trash. Now translate these. We also need a way to set the owner of that furniture. So I should be able to set the company there, the owner company. Can move, cancel, can trash. And also I had these two translation strings, set and cancel. And this is where the saving happens. Okay, let's give it a try and see where I failed, if I did. But you know, code never works at the first try. Oh yeah, where I failed is that I don't actually even call this function right now. Edit. Here. And the title would be should also show the name of that furniture item here. And possibly also ID, but I'll add that later. So furniture item. else did it need? Oh yeah, the furniture item itself. There we go. Well, there we have it. Cancel. Edit. So what if I set these? Does it save it now? It does. Okay then, and then I should probably add like a Dropbox here that makes it possible to change the owner of that furniture item. Also, what I want to do eventually is make it so I can select like a bunch of these and then edit them all at once, so I don't have to do it one by one. Like right now. But even one by one is progress at this stage, since that wasn't possible in the editor up until now. So I think I'm gonna wrap this stream up here then, since we've been having all these technical issues and I'm not sure if those have been continuing or not. So let's change to this. So we did get some done. The editor is the main thing holding the progress back right now for the game's new features. So I'm going to be continuing on that off the stream and maybe on the stream. Might even be this week, now that I think about it. But I don't know on what day. We'll just when I feel like it, I'll give it a go. But I will definitely be back on next Monday on the regular time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6 p.m. GMT, or what is it, 8 p.m. Estonian time. Let's see. Is there something else I can do before we go? As usual, stay healthy, stay brave, stay at home, wash your hands, do all that good stuff. And then hopefully we'll be all right and we can continue doing and watching this stream for months and months and years going forward. So, thanks for watching again, and goodbye.